welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to be talking about the Sabbath Lammas, so stay tuned. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be discussing Lammas, and do forgive me. This is a name that's always given me trouble. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways, and if I'm pronouncing it wrong from what you've heard it, I do apologize. It has a few different names. One of them is like I think Lughnasadh something. I can't pronounce that one, so we're not even going to try it. But it's in the title, so you'll see it there. This particular Sabbath is celebrated on August 1st. Now, some people have different theories on why this particular one is where it is, and some people think it's just one of those holidays they stuck in there to celebrate. Honestly, this is one of the first harvest festivals, and I think that's really it. Ancestors loved to celebrate harvests, and they loved to celebrate after a period of work. And honestly, I love to do it. One of the things about being a workaholic like I am, I work hard, I play hard. I enjoy my life doing what I do. I enjoy my work, but I also love to kick back and have a good time after. So the spirit of this, I really kind of relate to. Now that said, the entire focus of this is Lammas is the celebration of the first harvest. We are moving into that harvest season after the summer solstice. So naturally, the focus of the Sabbath is on the bounty of the land and its abundance. And at this time of year, there is an abundance. I remember growing up on a farm. This was the time of year where we're pulling so much out of the farm we can't keep up with it. This is when anytime I know somebody that has a garden, they are trying to give me all the extras that they just can't use. This is when their garden is overproducing, and they are just pulling things out, canning, preserving, using, and giving it out to other people constantly. It's a great time of the year if you love gardening. Now, on the religious side, this is also a good time of year when many pagans, Wiccans, and the like remember the goddess and the fertility of the goddess, the abundance of the goddess, and the harvest still to come, because there is still an abundance of the earth to be given. Of course, the goddess usually does represent Mother Earth. A lot of people love this particular time to do hand fastings and blessings and weddings. And again, you're harnessing that abundance. That will be an abundance and fruitful union kind of concept that you're utilizing for the ceremony, which is a beautiful thing. And let's be honest, if you're going to get hitched, you want it to be a fruitful marriage. Now, on the practical magician side, what are we going to do our magic for? What can we really harness this for? Obviously, you could do magic to work with the harvest coming up if you are a gardener or something, easily enough, and a lot of people do that. However, this abundance can actually work for more than just fruits and vegetables in the ground. I love to do ritual work to aid in paying off debts, perhaps do some weather magic to help with the coming winter. This is actually one of the time of years where I utilize this for prosperity magic, and getting rid of my debt. This was a big one. I would definitely harness that abundance to help me get rid of my debt. And now that I am debt free, I continue to harness it to just increase my resources so that I can do more to help my community and my family. And for example, do these videos here and help share my knowledge, that as it may be, with you all. As most holidays, there's usually food involved, right? So doing some kind of feasting or large meal using the harvested foods and is a great way to do this. as well as utilizing the food stores that would be going off soon to make more room for the winter stores. This is something practical I don't think I really see talked about that much. But growing up as a kid, we did a lot of our own canning, a lot of our own preserves. We would put food away for winter. Canning and pickling and stuff like that was just, it's what you did. It was part of the season. You just knew it. So what I noticed would happen as a kid, they would pull out the oldest products this time of year to make room for the new stuff they were canning, because you only have a finite amount of room in your cellar or wherever you're storing your goods. And they would utilize those things. They'd give them away as gifts for people visiting, or they would utilize them in the dinner that night, or several dinners, as the case may be, because I don't think they knew they were celebrating anything growing up where I did, but it was something that took place, and utilizing those foods to throw a feast to celebrate is a great way to do it, and you do get to make room for your fresh stores that you're going to put back, so you'll have fruits and vegetables and stuff through the winter. I know when I was growing up, this was kind of what I guess the two things that I remember coming out of the garden the most was cabbage and potatoes. Well, I should say the two things I like, because this was also tomato season. I know I'm a southerner who don't like tomatoes. Can't believe it. And I catch a lot of crap for that. But yeah, tomatoes were never my favorite. But cabbage and potatoes I really did enjoy. And that is one of the things that makes this particular season stand out for me as a kid. Now, utilizing these foods in order to celebrate and cook and have your family feast or whatnot is a great way to do it. Everyone has different things. Here in the U.S., I think it's pretty standardized. And growing up, like I told you, we had the potatoes, the cabbage, and tomatoes, I remember. Green beans was always a big one, so was corn. So these were just foods that they were very much available when I was growing up. Now that said, you don't have a garden or anything, go to produce section of your store, see what's fresh, see what's in season, check it out, buy some things, have some good times. Honestly, one of my favorite things this time of year, especially around August, some of the corn, the really good sweet corn is in, it's on good price. Me and my wife love to get that and grill it with butter. Oh dear God, that's good stuff. However, another thing that I remember my family making during this time of year, and it was, and I'll be honest, it was years after getting into Magick and even studying the Sabbats before I made the connection, is Brunswick stew. Now, Brunswick stew is a stew that I grew up with. I later learned in my adult years, apparently it's a southern stew. I didn't know that. But it is a tomato-based stew with vegetables and meat. Usually, traditionally, it was wild game, but you could use any kind of meat you want. So you could use beef, chicken, whatever you got. Point is, you need meat to throw in the pot. And that was the base of it, and then practically every family has their own recipe for tweaking it and making this smoky kind of tomato-based stew. And it is delicious. I love trying different Brunswick stews. Most of them do have some kind of a bean, usually a lima bean or something in it, so that's okay. But this was a stew that was made a lot around this time of year, which makes sense when you look at the fact it has a tomato base, vegetables, and corn is definitely one of the vegetables that was in it. Some people do throw some potatoes in there, and the meat. So this is a stew that is essentially utilizing this harvest to build this stew. Some people make it as a savory stew. Some people make it as a hearty, spicy stew. Believe me, Brunswick stew, in my experience across the South, that is a stew that is, you look at how it's constructed, and it can have so many different ways to build it outside that framework that it gets crazy. But it is a good stew. Even I like it, and I'm not big on tomatoes. So think about that. So I would encourage you actually to go ahead and look up a recipe and find some Brunswick stew, something that looks on par with you, and see if you can make it. And I'll consider perhaps doing a video to share my recipe at some point later. Well, that's it. That is Lammas in a nutshell, really quickly, and how you can celebrate it a little. Just get out, celebrate the harvest, pay attention to what your rituals are doing, pay attention to the abundance you've got, do some ritual magic to keep that abundance coming and keep building that abundance, as well as take time to celebrate the harvest and take time out. Take time out. You worked hard to get to this point. We are starting the harvest. There's work done. There's work to be done. I, for me personally, think Lammas is one of those first reminders to sit down and relax and have a little me time and enjoy it. That is really one of the things I think that some of these holidays do help me remember, because I often forget that. And I think it's something we all should remember. So come August, set aside a day with us all, traditionally August 1st, and celebrate Lammas. Enjoy some food. Enjoy doing some magic to increase your prosperity in the coming future. But most importantly of all, sit down, take a time out, relax, and enjoy some fellowship with friends. Until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.